You know who is full of lies?
It's me. I'm full of lies.
Hey guys, I'm Allie and welcome back to my channel. Oh no, we want to change that up. Hey y'all, it's Allie and welcome back to my channel. I'm trying to get rid of the hey guys, but I think that one's not working. It is the end of a month and the beginning of a new month, so it is time for me to tell you what I read last month. I don't think I read anything within like the first 3 weeks of January just because I didn't really feel like it. I was watching a lot of TV, finally finished Teen Wolf and sobbed my eyes out, and I've just been kind of catching up on some shows that I've started in the past and just haven't got around to finish. But then it picked up again at the end of January, and remember when I said
I don't want to read that much this year?
Your girl, I'm full of lies. I am just full of lies. I ended up reading 11 things just in January. So of the 11 things that I read, 3 of them were audiobooks, 5 were graphic novels, there was 1 middle grade, and then 1 adult book. I read 2 adult books. I lied. Again. Full of lies. I didn't read any specific like hardback YA books this month, which was very weird. I am also keeping track of the books that I read like on a spreadsheet, and it looks like I read all library books for the month. I want to do more of a mix of library books and a mix of my own books, so that's something that I'll need to work on in February. So let's go ahead and get into this wrap up. First, I'm going to start with the audiobooks as always. So I did listen to 3 audiobooks. First one that I listened to was Miles Morales, and yeah. This is about Spider-Man, and I gotta say this was really disappointing to me. I don't really know how to go into the details of this because there really isn't much of a storyline. It's just about Miles Morales and he is Spider-Man. It talks very little about how he got his powers. I don't know if I'm supposed to know that ahead of time or what. And this just kind of talks about his daily life, going to school, getting in trouble, and his spidey senses keep going off around the same teacher. I did like the narration that was going on, and I did like seeing some different aspects of the community, but overall the storyline was just blah, the characters were blah, and I just didn't care for this. I thought this was an incredibly boring audiobook. This took me, I started this like at the end of December, and it took me the whole month to finish, and it's not that long of an audiobook. I really just did not care for this. I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars, and that may have been generous just because I did like some of the description into the hardships that he goes through, especially as a black student, as a poor student in a boarding school, and just the different stereotypes that people think of him. But for the most part, this was just such a boring story. I also listened to Best Day Ever. This cover is gorgeous. I love this cover so much. It's just so edgy and fun, and I kind of wanted to buy a copy of this, but it is a like mystery thriller kind of deal, and so I was a little unsure whether or not I would enjoy it. So I decided to listen to it. That is my favorite way to consume thriller books. This is from the narration of the husband, and he basically is like, me and my wife, we're going to our lake house because I have a lake house. I am superior. My job is amazing. I provide for my family. But she is a housewife kind of deal. She, you know, as long as she has provided me kids and takes care of everything at home, blah, blah, blah. I mean, automatically you don't really like him. You can tell he thinks he is superior. You can tell he thinks very highly of himself, and he has a very general idea of what he thinks his wife should be doing. Anyway, they're going to the lake house to celebrate the best day ever, and it is just like, it's a little predictable in how things turn out. Again, you are from the narration of the husband, and you get little details of his personality along the way, so it wasn't the ending was super dramatic or anything like that. And it was very tightly written. I don't know how to describe that any better, but there was just so much tension. I feel like I was in the car and in the house with them, and it was just so much tension between them. And like, I hated him, but for some reason I was still able to listen to his narration, which normally that wouldn't have happened. because I was just waiting for those bam moments of the reveals and things like that. I won't say this was an original story, but I did enjoy listening to it. I ended up giving this 3 out of 5 stars. The last audiobook that I have to tell you guys is truly Devious. I had picked this up on a whim, basically. I was about to lose my Hoopla credits for the month, so I was like, you know what, I'll just pick out an audiobook. This is a relatively short audiobook. I love the color, and it is a YA mystery, which is so hard to find, I feel like. This does have a lot of like Sherlock-y feels to it. You can definitely see the inspiration from Sherlock Holmes in this. This takes place at a very different kind of boarding school. This girl gets accepted, and basically you get accepted on, it's not necessarily, I guess, smarts, but just different skills of solving things. And they go to this boarding school, and there had been a murder that had happened at the school. Like, that's what it's known for. There was a murder that happened, and our main character thinks that she will be able to solve it while she is there. Overall, I really enjoyed this. I thought the mystery was really well done. I ended up listening to this in one day because it was just one of those just like very addictive type of stories. Not only is she trying to solve this old murder, but another murder happens, and of course the school is kind of in chaos trying to figure out what's going on, and it was just really enjoyable. And I love Sherlock Holmes, and this was just lots of fun. And then the way it ends, this ends on such a big cliffhanger. Like, I kind of wish I would have waited until a second book was out, because I'm so annoyed that I have to wait to figure out what this reveal is. I will say my biggest disappointment with this storyline is that there is a very unnecessary romance involved, in my opinion. It kind of comes out of nowhere. I see like no spark between the main character and this other person, and it just like, I don't know where it comes from. It was like a surprise in my face when it happened, and then I was like, okay, if it's just once, I think I can get over it, but it becomes like a bigger part of the storyline, and I didn't care for that. I don't think it was needed. I think the story would have been so much better without the romance. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't really know what's going on there. So I ended up giving this 3.5 out of 5 stars. Moving along to my biggest category for the month, which was graphic novels. One of the first ones that I ended up reading was Princess Happily Ever After, or something along the lines of that. This is a middle grade graphic novel. It is much shorter. I think it was only like 60 some pages or something like that. But this is a really cute story about 2 princesses that fall in love. We have like the girly princess, and then the one that is like, she is an adventurist and wants to be a hero, and just seeing their friendship grow and their bond grow was just so cute. And I loved the art in this. It was such a cute art style, and overall just thought it was really enjoyable and really cute. I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars just because I do wish there had been a little more substance to the story, but overall I enjoyed it. I also finished Sweet Tooth completely. I read volume 5 and 6, or 6 and 7, whatever the last 2 are in the Sweet Tooth series. And these last 2 were fairly thick graphic novels on top of that. And I think that this series started off weak and grew. It just got better as it went on. It definitely didn't end how I expected. It becomes very religious heavy, which I mean, that all has always played a part, but I wasn't expecting it to be as heavy as it was. And I really enjoyed the overall storyline of this. If you guys don't know, this is about a plague that kind of knocks out humankind, and at the same time, these animal hybrid humans are being born. So this follows Sweet Tooth Gus, who is part human, part deer, and it is basically he is taken from his home and sent out into this apocalyptic world and fighting people and trying to figure out what has happened. And this just kind of goes into discovering the secrets of where this all started and how these animal hybrids came to be. I did really like the ending. It definitely came full circle. There was, I think, only one aspect of the whole story that really bothered me, and it was a weird romance that was mentioned, and I was just like, why? What? No. For the most part, I did really ended up enjoying this series. For volume 5, or whatever volume it was, I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, and then for volume 6 or 7, whichever one that was, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And we have Lumberjanes Volume 7. Again, this is another series that I am continuing. I love Lumberjanes. I think I've rated all of these 5 out of 5 stars. It is about this girls' summer camp kind of deal, and it is about a group of friends, and they get into all kinds of crazy shenanigans. It's like there's magical things happening, there are these creatures, and they're always like saving the camp and saving each other and figuring out myths, and it's just so much fun. I just love it so much. It is a middle grade series, and there is a female-female romance in it. It is just, oh my god, I love it so very much. And I think this one was one of my favorite volumes. There were so many kitties in this. And I love this one so much. There's a lot more characters that are introduced within the camp, which was really exciting because most of the time we only follow the same group of girls. So there was introduction to some new characters and some new adventures, and I love this one so much, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And then I love this next one so much, I ended up buying it. I had originally rented it from the library, and then I went and bought it. And that is Zodiac Starforce Volume 1. And first of all, let's appreciate this coloring. Oh my god, I love the art in this graphic novel series. But this is so fun. This is about another group of girls. Do we see a theme here? But they are like, they fight, they're the Zodiac Starforce, and they fight crime. They're kind of like an all-female Power Rangers kind of deal. This is just so much fun. It is about their friendship, and it is them in high school dealing with like normal stuff, and then on top of that it's like this evil empress thing that was sent to another dimension has come back and is like making them go back into becoming the Zodiac Starforce. And it was just so much fun. I loved it so much. I don't even know how to properly explain the story. We don't have all the Zodiacs yet, as you can see, so I'm wondering if they are going to come at some other point. I did see on the artist's Tumblr, I think, that she did the Zodiac Starforce for different countries. So that was really neat. So it isn't something that just happens like in our town. Apparently it's like all over. But I did get very new Power Rangers movies vibe from this. And there is also lesbian and bi rep in this, so give that 5 out of 5 stars just because it's awesome. Next I have the one middle grade book that I read, and this was a continuation of Sisters Grimm, which is one of my favorite middle grade series. It is about these 2 young girls. Their parents go missing, and they are going from foster home to foster home, and they end up with their grandma that they didn't know they have in a world that is full of fairy tale creatures, and they become fairy tale detectives. And this is what I am now calling Once Upon a Time for Kids. I think this was the 3rd one that I finished, and it's called The Problem Child. One of the main characters, Sabrina, who is one of the sisters, oh my gosh, she gets on my nerves so much, but I know she's being a kid, and I would be the exact same way that she is, and each time you're like learning a lesson from her actions, because in the end she's like, oh, I realize I was wrong now, but it's a reoccurring theme, and it makes me angry. But I did really enjoy this. This one was really action-packed. Oh my god, it was so much fun. We get a little glimpse of the Little Mermaid and stuff like that. I ended up giving that 4.5 out of 5 stars just because I love this series. It's just so much fun. I recommend it to any parents that have like reluctant readers, just because it is something that they can connect with on a level, because it has those like fairy tales that we all know, but in a different spin, and it is action-packed, and there is mystery, and sometimes I get so caught up in the action that I forget that I'm supposed to be solving a mystery, and then at the end even I am surprised. I'm like, I probably should have seen that coming, but you know, lots of fun. Alright, then the last 2 things that I have are the adult books that I ended up reading. One of the first ones was I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Nope, it wasn't one of the first ones. It was the last thing that I read. Lies. And that is I'm Thinking of Ending Things. This is a really short book, and this is about a couple that is going out of town to meet the boyfriend's parents, and on the way she is thinking about ending things, and some things happen. They get real suspenseful. The conversations that they have are very philosophical kind of questions. They bring up a lot of like, can you exist like this and with this, and you know, it's just very metaphorical questions and stuff like that. So I will say that this was more of a thought-provoking read, and then the main character is just straight up strange at times. Some of the things that she does, I'm like, why would you do that in this situation? Like, what are you doing? What? Like, things were just a little off at times, which in the end you realize why, but things were just a little off, and then you get to the end, and I did feel like the end was fairly predictable, but that didn't keep me from being like scared shitless at times. I'm not even kidding. I was like laying in bed, and it's like I kind of guessed what was going to happen, and I was like, my heart was going crazy, and I had nightmares from this thing, and it wasn't even like a terrifying read. It was just such a suspenseful read at the end. Was predictable. I don't really want to tell you what it deals with, because I would consider that more of a spoiler, but if you start reading it, you will realize that we have some unreliable narrators, so it's like from the beginning you realize that. Like, you know, this bitch ain't trustworthy. It's just a matter of what's gonna happen and when it's gonna happen, and then I was constantly second guessing myself. And I did end up thinking about this book, because when I finished it I was like, I'm so like, I don't really care about that. That was whatever. But then I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I think I enjoyed it more than I thought that I did. You know what I mean? I will say my biggest annoyance with this book is that there are 4 pages near the end that just have the same sentence written over and over again. That shit is so annoying to me. Do not up your word count. Do not fake your word count by throwing in the same sentence over and over again and waste my time. It didn't add anything to the story. It did nothing. It didn't prove a point. I was more like, just bad writing right there, just bad. I did end up giving this a 3 out of 5 stars. I feel like that may have been a little generous, but again, I ended up thinking about this book way more than I thought I would. The last thing I have to tell you guys about is The Orphan's Tale. This takes place during World War II. This is about, I didn't realize this because I kind of just picked this up, and I confused it with The Orphan's Train. There's another book called The Orphan's Train, and I got them confused, so when I picked this up, and it talks about the circus, I was immediately like, what? But I am a total sucker for circus books, so like, totally okay. This follows 2 girls that have this unlikely friendship. The first is a performer in the circus, and the second is a girl on the run, and she hides out with the circus. One of them is a Jew, the other one has a child with her. There's a pretty big age difference in them. The one has been working in the circus her whole life. The other one has to learn acrobat stuff like basically within a month span, and the other one just really doesn't want her there kind of deal. She thinks that she's not fit for it and that she's gonna fail, and they end up striking up a really wonderful friendship. This is definitely more a story about a friendship. There were so many scenes in this that were just so heartbreaking. I don't know what I was expecting from a World War II book. Allie, you know you're gonna cry. What are you doing? But for I don't know why I was thinking friendship. It's gonna be smiles and giggles. No, I sobbed so much reading this. I will say that my biggest issue with this was that at times it did feel a little repetitive because it switches between the point of view of Noah and Astrid, and so you kind of get a little repetitive with their storylines because they spend so much time together that they end up repeating a lot of the same things that had happened. I also wasn't totally convinced of the romance. There's a certain romance in this that happens. I wasn't 100% convinced, but I liked the way it ended. So this was so heartbreaking, and I don't know why I didn't see the end coming, but I just didn't, and it was just, oh my gosh, so sad. And I ended up giving this 4.5 out of 5 stars. So those are all the books that I read in January. I'm hoping that in February I will be able to read more of my own books, especially because there is going to be a readathon happening, and that hopefully eventually I might be able to finish the Sisters Grimm. I am working a slow pace through those books. Hope you guys have liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see future wrap-ups from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!